In April 2025, a friend asked me what was on my bucket list, and I responded, I want to hike across a country. 5 months later, I found myself alone, back to the Black Sea with 1,500 kilometers of the Transcaucasian Trail ahead of me, and only enough money to get me halfway through that hike. This is the story of the healing properties of the thru, and the growth gained from starting that scary walk. It really starts in 2019, in the Drakensberg Mountains, way down in South Africa. For my 18th birthday, I asked to attempt the famous Grand Traverse, and 9 days later, wet, tired, and completely defeated, we exited the mountains by Giant's Pass. That defeat started something in me, a passion and respect for the mountains. Skip forward 6 years, and many mountain peaks, ice climbs, hikes, and travels around the world, I eventually found myself on Vancouver Island, struggling with depression and self-destructive thoughts. My dreams had fallen apart and I couldn't see the point anymore. But I held on to one thing, a crazy plan to hike 1,500 kilometers solo across 2 countries. With just $400 in my bank account, no ultralight gear and no flight ticket, it seriously seemed that this adventure was not possible. And I almost gave up, but something kept me going. I ended up asking around the local community if anyone had odd jobs for me to do. And people passed my name around, and I got a lot of no's. But eventually, some yeses, and 3 months later, I had it all. A one-way flight to Georgia, ultralight gear, and just enough money to hike the first half of the TCT. Still, somehow, hope, joy, and excitement eluded me. Yes, I wanted to do this hike, but while riding the BC ferry to Vancouver, I wept. It was tears of anger, fuming against the horrific longing to fall off the back of the ferry and be swallowed by the ocean. Tears of sadness, of friends, dreams, and joy I had somehow lost. Tears of hopelessness about what was to come. Did I really want to start this hike? Did I really want to walk alone? Did I really want to face life again after finishing the trail? During the journey across to Georgia, I was swamped by scary thoughts about ending it during the hike. I found a strange peace in the thought that there didn't need to be life after the trail. And then there I was, standing, Black Sea to my right, Georgia to my left, and somehow it felt inevitable. Like I didn't actually make the decisions to get me there, that I was meant to be there, like all the routes in life would have ended me up at this point, in that spot. And motivation had nothing to do with getting me to that moment. I was there because I needed to be. So I turned my back on the ocean, no looking back. The first 100 kilometers wound across fields heading for the mountains. Every step became a little lighter as I began to leave behind all the fears, the self-hate, the trauma. But little did I know, just because I was walking faster than them, it didn't mean they wouldn't catch up with me. On day 4, the trail launched its way up and over the mountains, and straight into my first snowstorm. And I learned something exciting in the midst of it all. High on a ridge, I found myself on an edge with the possibility of a fatal fall, and I remember thinking I didn't expect to face death so soon. But then in that next moment, as I stepped up to attempt the climb on the edge, feet sliding on the icy rocks, naked hands in a crack, I was flooded by a desire to live. A stronger desire than I'd experienced in years. I wanted to finish the hike. In the following weeks, I passed along the base of the Caucasus Mountains, daily picking up speed, delighting in life, slowly gaining ground on that unresolved hurt and fear that was chasing me. I was walking fast enough to get away from them. A brutal week of rain and isolation pushed me past what I thought I could handle. Hundreds of kilometers of trails, muddy back roads and tarmac passed in somewhat of a daze. I was living each moment for that moment, never thinking more than a day ahead, until... On day 30, 500 kilometers in, I met my friend Luke, who flew from the UK to join me for a week of hiking. And a word of advice, don't get good friends if you don't want to deal with your baggage. A week of conversations and relaxed hiking began to allow the unresolved hurt and fear to almost catch up with me. On the final day with Luke, I could practically feel it breathing down my neck. And so, I said goodbye to Luke and head off at a frantic pace. A 30-kilometer day, a 40-kilometer day, a 50-kilometer day. I was making headway, getting further and further ahead again. And then, once again, my choice was taken from me. Deep in Armenia, I lost my primary bank card, and my secondary bank card stopped working. And so I was forced to stop. And it caught up. I was standing in the shower at the geologist homestay, listening to Harmonia's Dream from the War on Drugs, when it hit me. I found myself ugly sobbing in the shower. That hurt and fear had caught up. The wave passed, and walking into the next day, I realized I can work through this. It's just like hiking 1,500 kilometers, just one step at a time. From that point, the trail got more beautiful. I'm not sure if it was actually getting more beautiful, but each day I could see more beauty. No, I suspect it was my eyes that were changing. I found myself gasping at views, dancing on hills, running towards sunsets and pushing myself to try harder things, not because I was running away anymore, but because I wanted to learn more about myself. See how far I could go, understand how much I could actually handle, and find that comfort zone and step out of it. When my money ran out halfway through the hike, so many people I know and love, and some people I've never met, donated to keep me going. I had people caring about me from halfway across the world. There was always just enough to help me hike a little more. I spent my days allowing myself to slowly mentally walk through the pain I had tried to run away from, never feeling rushed or under pressure to sort myself out. And it turns out that was the best way to begin the journey of healing. Today is the last day of hiking across Georgia and Armenia. By the end of today, I'll have hiked 1,500 kilometers. Many of you may perceive this life of hiking alone through a foreign country as something terrifying. The difficult reality for me, and I think for many other thru-hikers, is that normal life is actually more scary than this. For me, pitching up my tent in a random field is less scary than figuring out how to pay for rent. And meeting strangers is far easier than maintaining my friendships. Most of all, life off the trail just seems so dull and ordinary in comparison. But avoiding life entirely is just not realistic. And I don't want to be somebody who lives from adventure to adventure, fighting depression in the seasons between. I want to be somebody who sees each day as an adventure, a life worth living, worth getting up for. It's been a battle, changing the mentality that says that life is about these moments, the big ones, not about the time in between. Life is seasons of adventure. I'm leaving an adventure to start another one. I'm not leaving adventure. And so it was done. I had made it to the end of an adventure I didn't think I would finish. One I couldn't afford, and somehow my lack of motivation had failed to stop me. My feet had walked every step of the 1,500 kilometer trail, and I was well on my way to hike the unclimbable mountain of my own mind. So I want to leave you with one reflection. None of this would have been possible if I had done anything but take one more step. If I had focused on the end, I would never have started. If I had got caught up in not having enough money, I would have given up. If I had tried to deal with my mental mess all at once, I would have ended it. If I had tried to hike it all in one day, I would have failed. So, just take the next step.